no shoulder at all. None whatsoever. With my bike in the back and me in the front. Well, good morning. My journey's over, and in this video I want to show you the last day and decisions that I made, and also a little bit about what I put on my bicycle, a very brief overview of some of the equipment that I carried. And then in a couple of days I'm going to do another video showing some of the details of the bicycle that I used, and also the box I used to transport my bicycle back home, how I packed it, and my trip to the airport. It was a wonderful trip, and I'm also going to do a video of my impressions of the overall trip and recommendations for the future. I made a decision last night. The roads are horrendous around here in South Carolina. They're unsafe, to say the least. What I've decided to do is rent a pickup truck and go the last 70 miles with my bike in the back of the truck and get safely to my hotel, so that maybe I'll get to see my 69th birthday. So that's what I'm going to do this morning, and I'm going to get moving right now. So here in Beaufort, South Carolina, I rented a pickup truck to be able to throw my bike in the back and drive up to Charleston. So here's part of the trail that I was warned about that's very unsafe. There's no shoulder at all. None whatsoever. That goes on for miles and miles, so I think I made a good decision to rent a vehicle and do the last little segment to Charleston by pickup truck with my bike in the back and me in the front. Well, I made it to my hotel at Charleston. All I have to do is find my room. So before I break my bike down and put it in the box, I want to do a quick review and show you what I took on the trip as far as a bicycle goes. The valet straps that I used to strap my Sea to Summit dry bags to the front of my bike. These things are strong, no issues at all. The Salsa anything cages, one on each side. If you have mounts on your fork, you're all set, and you mount them low to try to keep the weight down. I had two 24-ounce Camelback Podium insulated water containers. The next thing that worked very well was my air pump. A Sitka Tatico pump. You can see it's still dirty. I haven't cleaned up anything from the ride yet, but it's got a Bluetooth connection to your phone, so you can see exactly what your tire pressure is as you're inflating it. On the front end of the bike, I used a Ortlieb small pack, and it attaches with two little clips here, easy on, easy off. Keep all my valuables in here. Well, this is a simple mount for my action cam. My Cyclo Light Dash light worked very well. I would just keep it on a bright flash so that cars turning in front of me can see that I'm coming at them. The battery in this thing seems to last for about 12 hours. My Garmin 1030 GPS. I have a love-hate relationship with this thing. I put the course into it, the GPX file, and it was not accurate whatsoever. It would tell me to take a U-turn, and in fact that wasn't really the case, and then it would find the course again. Not very reliable, however it is very good for your speed, your power, your cadence, and it tells your battery level. So what I did to augment that was, on my cell phone I have Ride with GPS. Ride with GPS was infallible on this trip. I relied on it. It didn't send me down any wrong ways. I had the course in it, and so I use that for the most part. In hindsight, on another trip, I would get a cell phone mount on my handlebars and use Ride with GPS. Under my front pack is a Ortlieb roll. I'll show you when I take this front pack off. Front pack comes off very easily. I needed something for my tent poles to be long enough to hold them. So my tent poles, my tent stakes, some clothing, other things went in. By the way, all this Ortlieb stuff is extremely waterproof and didn't get any leaks. On the back end, I have two Ortlieb gravel packs. They're lightweight. For this type of a trip, they worked out just well. And on the seat post, I had the seat bag, which is their large. I keep my Z-Packs tent in here. I keep some clothing down in here. As far as my seat goes, I get a lot of comments about this, and if you aren't familiar with it, it's an infinity seat, and I strongly recommend this thing. I have, well, my wife has one, I have one, and I have one on my trainer at home. The principle is it's fairly soft, but your sit bones go into these holes, and believe me, it's like sitting on a pillow. This little tongue here does not bother you whatsoever, whether you're a man or a woman. So I strongly recommend anybody doing long distance bike riding investigate one of these seats. They're very expensive, however they come up on eBay, so I would look there first before you pay retail. I used two Reveille design little pouches mounted to the handlebars. They worked out nicely. I would keep my phone in here. I would keep my camera in here until it rained. You can cinch them up, but if it's really raining out, water will get inside here. So you want to keep that in mind. And on my top tube, I opted for the Toe Peak gas tank bag, and it's very waterproof. It also has a little hole here if you were to have something like a cell phone mounted on your handlebars and you had a battery in here, you could keep it charged by putting the cord through there, and this is very waterproof. I kept my cell phone in here for the most part, and also camera batteries fit in this little pouch. I also put my packets of electrolyte powder and also the key for my foldy lock. So the next item is my foldy lock. It's a very robust lock, and I keep it mounted here. There are two attachment points on my tube here. Usually it comes out easily, but I hadn't used it in about 4 days, and some grit and dirt got in there, and so it was a little difficult to take out. It's not all that big, but if you're in an area where you really need a lot of security, it would take somebody with an electric angle grinder to grind through this thing, and they tell me, and I've looked at reviews, that would take some time. It's got a robust lock here. As far as lights on the back of the bike, I use two Saigo light blinking lights, and redundancy because it was very dangerous roads that I was on sometimes. And I mounted one light on each of my back panniers. There's a little clip right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it attached right there, and of course I took the other pannier off already. And as far as my back rack, I opted for the Tubus Fly model, and the thing weighs like way less than a pound, so it's a nice addition. My bike doesn't have any mount here for it, so I got this seat tube mount that works nicely, and was able to attach it that way, and I was able to attach it down here to the frame. So as far as my fenders, I was looking for a lightweight solution, so I opted for the PDW, Pacific Design Works. They have these things called soda pop fenders, and they weigh nothing. They're made out of plastic, and they cost me, I think, under $25. And so I mounted one in the back here. I had to cut off the front and shove it under here in my rack, and it comes with a little clamp there. It was perfect for what I needed it for. The front was the same from here down to here. I had to cut this off so that it didn't interfere with my lock. The bottle cages, little overkill. I have two Arundel bottle cages. I like them, and of course, it's a bottle cage. I also took another lock with me. It's just your standard combination flexible lock, and I use this to lock the bike to trees in the few campgrounds that I stayed in. It just keeps fairly honest people honest.